the Concorde, 58,000 feet in the air, and I didn't have a tape recorder, so I had to remember it. And I got home and put it on tape, so they just come.
Where do you think the gift came from?
God.
Michael Jackson.
I'd like to thank God, who's first.
Hello, you all. Welcome to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, what's good? If you are new, hey boo, I am back with another video. And let me say happy Sunday to y'all. And it was another message that was put on my spirit that I wanted to talk about. I was reflecting on the last video I did about Tamar, and it kind of brought another celebrity to my man. And he is the greatest of all time. I will never forget Michael Jackson. This was another thing too I wanted to put in this video, but I was so connected to Michael and his music. It was an album of his that I bought. Y'all remember when we used to have them radio plays and we had the CD player in the top? I had a blue and gray radio that I used to play Michael Jackson Invisible album every morning before school, y'all. And this is something that I will never forget. I told y'all I grew up, I was real shy. I was always being picked on and bullied in school. And it was a couple of songs off of Michael's album that kind of helped me get through my school year. Actually, his songs gave me a lot of strength. And it was two songs that I'm gonna kind of put a sample of in this video. One was called Unbreakable, and it went something like, I know you see it, you can't believe it, and you can't touch me, cause I'm untouchable, and I know you hate it, and you can't take it, can't never break me, cause I'm unbreakable. Okay, and that was my favorite song off the Invisible Michael Jackson album. And he had so much strength in that song. You could tell that he was talking about his haters, the people that were scrutinizing him, people that putting rumors out here about him. And that song, Unbreakable, you can't touch me, I'm unbreakable. And it was another song off that album too that the Lord probably inspired him to make this song. It was called Whatever Happens, and it go like, whatever happens, don't let go of my hand. And whenever I would hear that song, everything will be alright, he assures her, but she doesn't hear a word that he says. Preoccupied, she's afraid what they've been doing's not right. He doesn't know what to say, so he prays. Whatever happens, don't let go of my hand. I feel like he was talking about the Lord in that song. It's like, whatever happens, do not let go of my hand, Lord. Michael Jackson, man, that man was something. That man was a man of God. Okay, I'll say that. Every time I hear a song of his or think about him, I think about my mother, because my mother was a huge fan of him. And it was something about Michael too. He had this sort of sophistication and poisonous about himself that made him desirable to a lot of women too. Okay. And my mom was, I was just reflecting on my mom was in love with Michael Jackson. Like every time she see Michael Jackson, she was going crazy. But Michael Jackson passed away, my mom was hurt. You could have swore that she lost her boyfriend or her husband. Like it was just always something about Michael that was just different. And if I was able to come on here and talk about celebrities, it would be in a positive light. Michael Jackson always stood out to me. Michael Jackson was always played in my household. Okay, I grew up listening to him. And I wanted to kind of make this message because for the ones that's listening in on this video, you are not a celebrity, okay? But you got celebrity energy. You may have something about you that makes you stand out from a lot of people. But the one beautiful thing about this is that you have humility. Your humility overtakes everything. Okay, this star quality, this celebrity energy that you got about yourself, your humility shines brighter. And I know that I'm, speaking about you, but I'm kind of reflecting on Michael too, because it was something about Michael that, I mean, even though he was a huge celebrity, his personality is what separated him from most people, okay? And so that may be you. You may be in some sort of industry. This message can really be for anybody, but really I'm talking to the ones that they're out here trying to make a name for themselves, okay? You may be doing something like this. You may be an influencer. You may be a singer. You may be just anything that you may be doing. You are on the up and up. And even though you have that star quality about yourself to where you notice that you are becoming quote unquote well known by a lot of people, your humility is what sets you apart. And I'm sitting up here and every time I think about certain things like this, I get kind of emotional just a little bit, because I think about Michael. Michael went through a lot of scrutiny. He was mocked a lot and he was bullied a lot, and Michael was just different. And that's the one thing about you, okay, the person that's listening to this video, you don't have to be a celebrity to carry that kind of light, to carry that kind of energy. You are different, and that's what makes you special. And I was just thinking about Michael, just how he was just always up under some sort of public scrutiny, and it was the reason why my mother really liked him. I feel like that was the reason, because Michael had been through so much all the way through his childhood. You know, he went through a lot with his father and just branching off on his own, breaking away from his brothers and making a name for himself. And the one thing I could say that I connected with Michael was that he was really shy. You know, even though he was this huge celebrity and just well known and everybody just Google gaga over him, he wasn't that type of person. He was really secluded. He was introverted. He was shy. A very peculiar person. And that is you. You may get a lot of attention, but you prefer not to have too much of it. You okay with it, but you ain't in all of it. Like, you're not a prideful kind of person. And I wanted to use Michael Jackson to push this message, because he had a belief in the Lord, and the Lord speaks about having a prideful kind of spirit, having a boastful, attention-seeking kind of spirit. The Lord speaks against that in the Bible, and I feel like that's why Michael Jackson carried himself the way he did, and why he wasn't so caught up on the limelight and the celebrity, the attention. He wasn't really phased by, you know, he didn't want to give too much credit to himself. You know, every time he would get his award or he would get praises from other people, you could tell they made him feel uncomfortable, because he said his gift came from the Lord, so he didn't want the praises from men. He was okay with it, but he knew that if it wasn't for the Lord, he wouldn't have been where he was. You have certain qualities about yourself that makes you extrovert in a way, but for the most part, you are introverted, and that's what makes you a humble person. Okay, even though you got this light about you, you may be well known, but your humility is what people love about you the most. And I was just thinking about Michael, like, he was this huge mega star, and he would carry himself as if he didn't have this sort of fame. He was just like any other regular kind of person. And I just used to love how he would interact with his fans, and even though he was this shy, introverted person, just, you know, he just kind of liked his privacy. He didn't want a lot of people around him, but he still was respectful. He was never rude to his fans. He would stop and sign autographs and touch their hand, and just had that engagement, that interaction with his fans. And that's what he was loved for the most, is that he was a really humble person. You know, he never thought that he was better than nobody. Even though he was this huge mega celebrity, he could have carried that kind of energy. Like, he could have been the type of person, I'm above you, who are you type of energy, because that's how certain people act when they get a certain level of fame and attention. They get all the eyes on themselves. Sometimes they become this person that is not relatable. You know, they are very arrogant. They think that they are superior than others. And Michael just never had that kind of energy. And I'm talking to the person that's listening to this video. You may have that Michael kind of energy. Okay? You got a lot of people that know you. You don't have to be no megastar to be carrying this kind of aura. You don't have to really be doing anything grand, but you have a lot of people that know you. Okay? That you may be popular in high school, college, or you may be unpopular. Whatever it is that you may do, okay? You may be really talented, and that's how people know you. But outside of what you are passionate about, you are connected to a lot of people in a way that sets you apart from a lot of people. Your humility, your personality is just infectious, okay? I was watching an interview, and that's actually what made me want to make this message. Michael went on stage to receive his Grammy Award, and he said he thanked God. First of all, I would like to thank God. It was his voice, his voice. But it was just like, that's the reason why he became so much of a pop megastar, was because of the Lord. Because I watched another interview of his, and the lady asked him, where do your gifts come from? And he said, from God. Okay. I was just amazed listening to that. The fact that he said his gifts came from God, that's how he became who he was. That is what set him apart from everybody. Because I really had to think back on it. Michael's upbringing had a lot to do with the Lord as well. And he touched on that was in their household. They had a belief in the Lord. And so it was just certain things about Michael. His morality was set up different. It was just certain things that you would never see Michael doing. He wasn't living a corruptive kind of lifestyle. It was just something about Michael that was just, I was just always so connected to. You know how you see certain celebrities and you feel connected to them in a personal way? You kind of feel like you see yourself a lot in this person, and that's why you are connected to their music. You may be a fan of theirs. It's because they share similar life experiences like you. And Michael was just always just that person that he was just different. And it was in a way where it brought him up under public scrutiny because he was just so different. It was just so mean the way the media treated Michael. And I think it had a lot to do with his beliefs. It's just certain things that you can't do when you are a follower of the Lord. Michael wasn't like a lot of celebrities. And I feel like a lot of people picked at him because he wouldn't do certain things. Even though he was this pop megastar, it was a lot of people that I feel like was envious of him. They would pick at Michael. They would make fun of him because of who he was. He was this pop megastar, but he didn't carry himself that way. It was just something about him that people, they would look at him and they would see him as being weak because he was very soft-spoken. And that's another thing too. He had traits and certain qualities about him that these demons would pick at. That is what people do. When you are the type of person that is different, you are a celebrity, you got that kind of energy, but you don't carry yourself that way. You have a lot of humility about yourself, and you will find it to where people try to pick at you. They will try to bully you. They will try to treat you as if you are not important. It was just something about Michael that attracted demons to him. It was his personality. It was the way he carried himself. Michael had a purity about him. That's one thing I could say I remember about him, is that he was pure at heart. Okay, y'all know that I made that message a while ago where I say your heart is pure. You would just attract a lot of people that they're not going to understand you. They may view you as being weird, you know, kind of out of the box. And even though you may have these things and they expect you to be a certain way because you may have this sort of limelight, you are not that type of person. You don't carry yourself that way. Okay, you have a belief in the Lord. It was certain things that Michael didn't do that I feel like brought him a lot of scrutiny and mockery as well. And that's you. You are the type of person that, even though you have this attention, it's just something that sets you apart. You will never fit in. Okay, you are the type of person that was born to stand out. Okay, and that's one thing I could say I remember about Michael. He never fit in. Okay, He could be in a room with a lot of people, literally pick him out of a lineup of people in a room. He would stick out like a sore thumb. And that's how you are. Okay, you are that type of person that it does not matter where you at, who you are around, and what's going on. You're going to stick out like a sore thumb because your heart is too pure. Your energy is too angelic, okay? And to top that off, you got celebrity kind of energy. So that's just kind of like what makes it more noticeable, okay? But your humility is what makes people notice you the most, okay? Although you may find yourself going through certain situations in your life to where you feel like you are being scrutinized, you are being bullied, you got the Lord in your life. And that is a blessing in itself right there. And I wanted to make this message to kind of let y'all know that your humility is what sets you apart. I really don't know how I'm going to title this message, but your humility is what makes you who you are. It really sets you apart. And your faith and belief in the Lord is what sets you apart as well. You are going to attract some demons. So you are going to attract demonic energy to you, carrying this kind of light. When you are on this walk with Christ and you're trying to do things that are pleasing to the Lord, you are going to be up under some sort of scrutiny, sadly to say. You are going to have people that are going to mock you, okay? Because you are different. You are not like the others. And when I say that, I don't see it in a way as if like you are better than them or nothing like that. But that's what really sets you apart. Okay, even if you try to do what everyone else do, you're not going to look right doing it. You stand out too much. You stick out like a sore thumb. Whenever you try to do what everyone else do, you seem to stand out the most. And people just be looking at you like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you drinking and smoking? Why are you cursing? If this ain't your personality, it's out of alignment with who you truly are. You are too pure. You are too angelic for this. Here's one particular meme that I had seen to Michael Jackson. It was so funny, y'all. But I think I may insert it in this video, but he was in the room with some well-known rappers. And he just was looking like he did not fit there. Like, he stuck out like a sore thumb so much. That stuff was so funny, but that's literally you. You can be around a lot of people that are well known. Let's say, for instance, we just gonna use a scenario. You are a well known influencer and you are around other influencers, but it's something that's different about you. You don't do what everyone else does. Okay, y'all may be at an influencer event or engagement where you have to interact with others and you just feel out of place. I keep picturing that meme with Michael Jackson. That stuff was so funny. But that's literally you. You don't fit in with a lot of people, but you belong there, okay? Because the Lord put you there. He put you in the spotlight. He gave you a certain talent to where you are able to show your strengths to the world, and people gonna see you regardless, okay? The one thing I could say I noticed about Michael and why I was so connected to him was because even though he was so shy and introverted, he would always be noticed by a lot of people. You could tell that he didn't really enjoy the limelight like that. But when he would get up on stage and perform or do a music video, it was almost as if something would take over him. He wasn't that shy, introverted person. It was just like, you know how you could see somebody, you could tell that it's the Lord operating through them, giving them this kind of confidence, this strength, this talent, this voice, these dance moves. It couldn't have been nobody else but the Lord working through him to do that, because his personality was the total opposite, okay? But that is what happens when the Lord is moving, when he got his hands on your life. It's when you see a person doing things that is completely out of the norm for them, and you could tell that nothing that could be giving them this kind of power, this strength, but God. It's something that's operating outside of them that is not humanly possible. It's supernatural. The Lord will give you the strength and the power to do anything. He will take the most shy, introverted person and put them in front of a lot of people. He will put you back together in front of the people that tried to break you. The Lord has a weird way of working his wonders and his power through people. It's the most amazing thing that you could ever witness. And I think that through Michael Jackson. Even though he was a celebrity, it was just something about it that just would make him feel uncomfortable. If you are a shy person, then you know what I'm talking about. Like when you got too much attention on you, you feel uneasy at times. And that's kind of what I had noticed about Michael. What I'm so connected to is that you may be the type of person that you may get a lot of attention that you don't want, but you come to learn to accept it. You just kind of take it. When the Lord puts you in a certain position in life, you just have to go with the flow. Even though Michael went through a lot, sometimes when I think about Michael, I do get teary-eyed a little bit because they was really mean to Michael. You know, they really tried to destroy him because they seen what was on him. And that's what it is about you. Like, you have that celebrity energy, but you have a humility that the Lord has blessed you with. He gave you multiple gifts, okay? And that's what made you who you are and why you are in a certain position where you are now, because you have God on you, okay? It's the God in me. It's the God on you, on your life. And it's attracting attention to you, okay? You are getting negative and positive attention. And you just have a lot of people that they see your spirit, okay? Some people appreciate this quality about you, and some people, they see it as a weakness, or they may envy it, okay? They don't like the fact that you are so humble. They don't like the fact that although you have a certain amount of success, you can still speak to a homeless person. You can still stop and have a few words with these people. You don't look down on them. You don't treat them as if they're beneath you, okay? And your humility is what makes you who you are, okay? Humility is something that the Lord grants us. And although you may have gifts, your humility is what's going to always set you apart. Okay? You are special. And you have that celebrity energy for a reason. There's just certain people where they will always be looked at as being different. It just doesn't matter what you do. You are always going to be seen as different. And when I talk about being different, there's some positives and negatives that come along with that. And when I say you are different, I mean it in a positive way, meaning that it's okay to be who you are. It's okay to not want to fit in and be like everybody else. Sometimes you feel that pressure to be like everybody else. But because you are yourself and you are real and authentic, people are not going to understand that. And they may try to scrutinize you and mock you for that. But you have a lot of people out here that appreciate this quality about you. They like that you are a humble person. You got the type of person that you may have a lot of money. Okay, you just got a lot going on, but you will give the shirt up off your back to a person in need. You got it, okay? You got it. Whatever it is, you have it. But your relationship with the Lord, your humility is what sets you apart from a lot of people. You are the type of person that it just doesn't matter where you're going, what you do. You are just going to be set apart, okay? There's advantages and disadvantages to that. That carries a lot. And I could just sit back and think about Michael Jackson, like his stardom was way different than any other celebrity. Okay, he was way up there off the charts with his stardom. But his personality didn't match up with his stardom. Well, I'll take that back. It did match up with his stardom, but not in a way that it's societal standards or is accepted by a lot of people. It's popular today to have morals and standards and a belief in Christ, that is. It wasn't popular back then. It matched up with his stardom, and I feel like that's why a lot of people envied him. Okay, they tried to cover it up. He is one of those type of celebrities that people envy because he's too angelic and pure, and people just may sit up and wonder why he got all this money and this stardom like that. He's weird. He don't do this. He don't do that. How he get all this fame and this fortune like this? Oh, let's make up some rumors about him. Let's say he did this and did that. Let's try to destroy his character and take away his fame. And he don't deserve that type of energy. When you have that stardom kind of energy, that celebrity kind of aura, and you are a humble person, that's the type of scrutiny you will have to deal with. And that's the one thing that made him memorable by so many different people, and what made him so much of a mega star, and why he became so iconic, because he was just so humble. He was sweet-spirited, pure-hearted, angelic. Like, he had this aura that was just out of this world, that it couldn't have came from nobody but the Lord. Okay, you know how you see certain people and you just be like, it must be the Lord. It must be his hand up over this person's life, because it's just something about them that's just different, you know? It's different. And that's you. You are different in a good way. And you got people out here that will make you feel like you are different in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? When you don't do what everybody else do, and you just kind of do your own thing, it's just going to be people that are going to be put off by that. You may rub a lot of people wrong, but this is just who you are. Okay, it's either they're going to take it or leave it. You got this attention, this focus, you got all these ads on you, but you are humble. Okay, that's not anything that you could change about yourself. People that have a real authentic relationship with the Lord, they always seem to be up under scrutiny the most. It's always a situation to where they are in the spotlight in some sort of way. You know how you ever felt like you may be an introverted, shy person. You purposely try to fade off into the background. You don't want to be noticed. You don't want to be seen because you don't want the attention. But it's always something that puts you in a spotlight to where you're on people's radar, okay, without even trying. And it's a reasoning behind that. Operating your gifts, whatever your gifts may be, whatever sort of passions and talents you may have, okay, it's a reason why the Lord wants to put you in the front, okay? It ain't no more standing in the back of the line or sitting all the way in the back of the class with your head down and with your hoodie on your head, and you don't want to be picked on. And when I say picked on, I mean you don't want the teacher to call your name, okay? You're supposed to be sitting at the front because you have something special that the world needs to know. They need to see and hear, okay? The Lord gave you something that is special that cannot be hidden. Even if you try to cover it up, it's going to shine even brighter. Whenever you try to hide something, it's going to come out even more, okay? So you might as well operate in that thing fully. As long as you have a relationship with the Lord and you are rooted with him and you constantly pray to him to keep you humble or give you humility, then you are going to be just fine. Everybody is going to go through things in life. You are going to, if you are the type of person that grew up in, you might have been that type of person that was always picked on and bullied. I really do strongly feel like it's a reasoning behind why certain people go through things like that. If you have been bullied as a child, that was your practice right there. Okay, it was a blessing in it. Everything happens for a reason. You just got to learn how to take the positive out of the negative situations and turn it into something that's going to work in your favor. The Lord is always going to turn the situation around to work in your favor. If you have been scrutinized or bullied or just certain situations to where you just feel like you was just different. And when I say different in this instance, I mean like in a bad way. Okay, it was probably certain instances in your life to where you didn't like this about you and you wanted to be like everybody else, okay, because you don't want the attention that comes along with being different and set apart, okay? But this is who you are. There's nothing that you can change, and you shouldn't change it. You see how big Michael got? He is the most shy, soft-spoken, introverted celebrity that I can even think of, okay? But he became iconic because he was different. I watched the interviews with Michael Jackson. Every time they would ask him about where did he get his gifts from, what inspired him, he always said God, okay? God. And it clicked to me. That's why he was a mega star. The Lord brought him to the forefront, okay? The Lord will raise you up in the presence of your enemies, okay? I don't know where that message just came out of nowhere. The Lord will prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies, okay? There's nothing that you need to be afraid of. You got to step from the back of the line. You got to hold your head up. You got to stop hiding yourself because the Lord put something special from within you that he wants other people to see. He wants to see you operating your gifts. He doesn't want you to be afraid or ashamed or embarrassed of what he has placed inside of you. Okay, y'all know how you ever seen them people to where they always had their head down in class, or they never raised their hand, and you may be this person. Okay, I'm speaking personal experiences. This was the type of person I used to be as a child. So I always had in the back, just shy. You got Michael Jackson kind of energy, like straight up. But anytime you had to get up and give a performance, or you had to do a project or a class assignment, you gave it your all, 110%, okay? Extra. You had people on stuck whenever you had to get up and deliver something. Okay? Nobody knew that you had this from within you because you always had your head down. You was always quiet. Nobody knew that you had this special quality about you. But the Lord placed something special from within you that when it was all said and done, all they was going to see you. They was going to hear you. Okay? And right after you was done doing all that, you went right back to being your humble self. Okay? And so for whoever this message needs to be for, it's for you this morning. You have celebrity energy, but your humility is what sets you apart. So get out here and operate in your gifts and do whatever the Lord has called you to do. So hopefully y'all got something from this video. Hopefully it helped you in some way. Continue to protect y'all soul and spirit. And I will talk to y'all in the next video.